if you've ever wondered how you're going to transfer your funds over to buy your property in Tenerife, here's an interview I did with Carol Schleisman. She works for Currencies Direct. They're a foreign exchange company, and she explains everything you need to know about it, how safe it is, and what you actually need to do. So, I mean, my first question, if I was sending you €200,000, my first question would be, is my money safe? I mean, that's my really biggest worry.
And it's a good point. I mean, you'd be surprised how many people do send us that sort of money and don't ask that question, which shocks me more than anything. But the important thing is knowing that it is safe. One of our regulations with the Financial Conduct Authority is the fact that all of our client accounts have to be completely segregated. So in other words, we're not allowed to use our clients' money to operate our business. We're not allowed to speculate with it. It's in a non-interest bearing account. And it's actually safer with us than it is within people's personal bank accounts, because part of our regulations are that we have to cover our clients. God forbid, after 22 years, if anything happened to our company, we have to insure our clients for the full amount of money that they hold with us. Not the normal banking scheme only provides you for up to 85,000 in the UK.
Right. Yeah.
And 100,000 in Spain. So it is actually safer with us than it is in your own bank.
Isn't it? So you would actually then insure my whole €200,000 that I'm sending to you?
Yes.
Right, okay.
We have to have it totally covered.
I didn't know
so
that.
we are a risk-free company. Obviously, there's a lot of companies out there that will do sort of peer-to-peer transfer and different things like this. We have taken the stance from the beginning that we are completely risk-free. And that's an added security, which is why we're authorised by the FCA as well. And it is important for people to know, because when they are moving substantial sums of money, they, like I think you mentioned on your website, you know, they need to know that it's safe, that they're not sending it out into the ether and I'm off to the Bahamas for a holiday suddenly and all over Facebook. So it is important.
Okay. So I've seen people opening accounts with you. I mean, how do you go about? I have to open an account to send money to you guys, yeah?
Yes, I mean, again, it's part of the compliance and the regulations of the FCA. Just like the clients need to know who we are, we need to know who they are. We have very strict courses on anti-money laundering, data protection, all that sort of thing. So we need to make sure that the person we're dealing with is exactly who they say they are. And it's very simple to register. We can either do it online through a link, they can do it by telephone with one of our account agents. In some cases, we will need a proof of address and proof of identity. In extreme cases, sometimes compliance will ask what the purpose of the transfer is and maybe need some proof on that. But again, that's all in accordance with the AML regulations.
Okay. So what sort of proof would I have to send you then if I was buying a property? You said someone might need proof.
Yes. If, for example, you're a UK resident, we can check you out electronically. But we don't have that facility around the rest of the world. So basically, in that case, we'd need like a clear copy of your passport, just the 2 photo pages, but in its entirety, not little bits missing off the end. And a proof of address would be something like a bank statement or a utility bill, just dated in the last 3 months, showing your name and your home address.
So how do I go about changing my money? I mean, I've got sterling, we'll say the same example, I've got €200,000. So what do I do with that money then? It's in my bank account now in England. What do I do?
Right. We have in-country accounts for different currencies. So normally if you sent it through your bank would charge you an international transfer fee, not to mention the exchange rate wouldn't be necessarily in your favour. So we work with a Barclays in the UK, for example. So you would transfer your sterling to our Barclays account, which is a national transfer, so there's no charge. Once you've agreed the rate of exchange, if you haven't done it already, instead of us sending the money to Spain, we work with La Caixa Bank in Spain, and we pay the euros out of there to wherever you ask us to, whether it's your account or your lawyer, whatever the case may be. So that's why we have no international transfer fees. We haven't got to build that into the rate we get for you, because we're not actually sending it anywhere.
Okay, so I mean, I know that you don't charge my clients any money at all. So how do you guys make your money?
I wish I could tell you we did it for free. We're good, but we're not that good. No, obviously, we're like the banks. We make our money on the exchange rate. We can buy at a preferential rate. We just don't take as much profit as they do. And again, the saving with no international transfer fees. So clients can save anywhere between 3 and 5%, which is a lot of money unlike a property purchase, as you said, on 200,000, that's a big deal.
A fair amount of money. Good. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I've also brought to you clients who are selling and taking their money back. And of course, that's another big risk that people are thinking, well, once I've said goodbye to the notary and said goodbye to Simon, what the heck's going to happen to my money? So what
I
about if
know.
I'm selling a property and I'll get my money back through you guys?
Yeah, it's very easy actually, because normally if you were putting it into your Spanish bank account, for example, most people aren't aware that the bank will charge them to clear their draft, and then they'll charge them an international transfer fee to get it back to their own country. With us, we have a unique agreement with La Caixa, whereby our clients can put their bankers' drafts or their transfers directly into our client account. They don't incur any of those charges, which is normally an average of 1.2% of the value of the check.
Right.
So right away, we can save them that. The check will take, depending which bank it's drawn on, it will take 2 to 3 working days to clear, but they can agree the rate whenever they want. They haven't got to wait for it to clear. And then again, as soon as it clears, we will pay it out of, for example, the UK bank directly to their UK bank. So again, there's no international transfer fees.
Nice. Okay, and probably one of the last questions is, we've talked about rate a number of times, or you've mentioned it a couple of times. How do I know what rate I'm getting then when I'm transferring my money, whether it's from the UK to Spain or vice versa?
We keep in contact with you because obviously we know if you're moving sterling to euros or euros to sterling. Obviously, our senior traders are on the live market all day long. They know what sort of data's coming out and how it might impact on what you need to do. So our job is to keep you informed. Not many people have got the time nor the inclination to sort of sit online and watch what's happening with the exchange rate. Our clients can say to us, you know what, when it gets this rate, that's what I'll be happy with. So we can set them either a rate watch, or we can actually set them what we call a limit order, because bearing in mind a lot of times that the markets are still functioning, our offices are actually closed. A very good example was when we had the referendum, obviously, in the first place. We set up a lot of our clients on limit orders and said, look, if it doesn't hit, you haven't lost anything, but if it should hit and we can get you the rate that you're looking for, our system will automatically book it for you.
Right.
And then you're not going to see it at 8 o'clock in the morning and say, oh God, at 3 o'clock this morning, it was exactly what I needed. So we've got all kinds of services to do that, but our team also keep in touch with the clients, because sometimes I'll have clients that say, you know what, I'm not in a hurry for the money. This is the rate that I want, that's fine. But then something might come up at home. It's invariably children or grandchildren that suddenly need an influx of cash from the parents. So to say, don't leave yourself in a position where for some reason you've suddenly got to move it at whatever rate. So I always say, please don't think we're mithering you. Our job is to watch this for you and make sure you do it at the best time possible and at the best rate according to what your needs are. So you never have to agree a rate immediately. You tell us what it is you need. If we can get it for you, we will. If we can't, we'll also keep you posted, so that you're not sort of saying, well, I'm going to wait 10 years for this rate.
Exactly.
It's flexibility and knowing your client and what they need.
Okay. So is there anything else, and out of all the questions I've asked you, is there anything that you think I should have asked you that I haven't?
Oh, that's a good question. No, I mean, you've covered the security. That's super important, obviously. Another huge advantage we have over our competitors is we're the only company that have presence on the island, not just in Tenerife, but the other 2 major islands as well. And like I say, most people can do everything online. They can do it by telephone. But I think particularly when it's substantial sums of money, I think clients like to know who they're dealing with and put a face to that name rather than just a voice on the phone. So we're available to meet, well, obviously present circumstances not counting, but we are available to meet them and take them through everything step by step, so they haven't got to worry about, was I supposed to do this? How do I go here? We're highly competitive in our rates. We look after our clients. Our clients, it may sound a bit cheesy, but our clients do in fact become friends, pretty much like in your business. They trust us because we don't tell them anything that we can't do. We don't make any false promises. If I knew what the rate was going to be next week, I'd be sitting on my yacht today with my champagne in isolation. But we're very transparent with them. We're very honest, and we do our best for them. it is a simple process, but the important thing is knowing who you're dealing with on both sides.
It's simple for us because we're I'm sort of buying and not exactly buying and selling, but I'm helping people buy and sell. You're changing money all day, every day, so it's very simple for us to say it's a very simple thing. But when
It's true.
Life savings or some sort of great lump, what they call it, nest egg, then it's a big worry. All right, Carol, I think that's brilliant. Thanks very much for your time. And
you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Hopefully that's helping people out.
Excellent.
Thanks a lot. Cheers. So there you go. Now, if you've got any more questions, then let me know. If you want to get hold of Carol, you can get hold of me and I'll put you in contact with her. Or you can click one of the links there on the article below and that'll get you straight through to them.